Are you ready to raise your game at Fork Military Academy? Sometimes described as the West Point of high schools, Fork Union is a leading college preparatory Christian boarding school for young men grounded in the structure of discipline of the traditional military academy model, and scholarships are available. Fork Union Military Academy's athletic program has produced hundreds of college and professional athletes, including 6 Olympians, 2 Heisman Trophy winners, and more than 120 NFL players. Fork Union Military Academy is a private school and is independent of any direct military affiliation or obligation. Schedule a tour and get started on your journey today by visiting forkunion.com. Fork Union Military Academy. Body, mind, spirit. Welcome to the Goal Podcast, the podcast for serious soccer players and their supporters to help further their development and navigate their way throughout their soccer career.
Hello and welcome into another episode of New England Soccer Journal's The Goal Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Langone, joined in studio, as always, by our own Matt Doherty. Matt, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You ready to talk some soccer to a national champion?
I'm a little nervous, but I'm ready.
Well, our guest is indeed a national champion. Today we're joined by Tufts University men's soccer coach Kyle Dezotell. Kyle, how you doing?
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me. I'm doing great, and nothing to be nervous about. If I can win a national,
you're a national champion, Kyle.
Our staff says if we can win, anybody can. So, we're excited, happy to talk about it though. I'll talk about the national championship with random strangers and anybody walking by. So I'm
thanks for coming
happy
on.
to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you, Kyle. And you're selling yourself short there. I mean, winning the national championship is pretty dang hard. But we've been wanting to have Kyle on. It's great to have him here. And it's been a couple months here since you guys won the thing. Just what's it been like, the aftermath with the program? I mean, it's funny because the NESCAC it's like old hat for NESCAC programs. I mean, you guys, the league is so good that there's national champions there left and right. But still, I mean, to go through that schedule and then to get through the NCAA tournament and be crowned champion, it's got to be pretty cool. And even a couple months afterwards.
Yeah, it's amazing. And obviously, I guess we're about just over 2 months post national championship was December 7th. So we're just over 2 months. And that first month, honestly, there's a lot that comes with it. It was amazing and an incredible accomplishment. As much as like it gets old hat for the NESCAC, the reality is we hadn't won in 5 seasons. 2019, and there wasn't a season in 2020. So 5 seasons it had been for our program, and I took over during that time frame. So I've never done it. So it's definitely not old hat for me and my staff, and these players had never done it. And so, incredible accomplishment. Our league is obviously amazing. And we keep talking about, we think we're actually going to be really good next year. And like, there's a world where we could be better next year than we were this year.
Wow.
But like our league is so strong. We could be better next year than we are this year. And we could finish 7th in our league. Like genuinely is how good the NESCAC is. And it takes a lot of luck. It takes guys, we had a bunch of injuries during the regular season, but then guys got healthy at the end, and we were pretty darn healthy, probably about as healthy as any team I've ever coached throughout that sort of playoff stretch run. And that's really important. And our depth was incredible and pulled us through. And it's been amazing. A lot does go into it, but it's fun. It's fun doing interviews and having opportunities to talk about our players and our program. And this was a really special year. I mean, we won 20 games, which one of our assistants pointed this out to me the other day. As strong as the NESCAC is, I think we won 7 or 8 games more than any other NESCAC team this season, which is like crazy to think about with, all the other teams that you could say are also the best teams in the country. So just an incredible season, a really fun couple of months. And now we're sort of navigating, it's time to move forward and try to see what we can do in 2026, but also at some point life is finite and you should enjoy the moment. And so we've enjoyed it and we want our players to enjoy it, because who knows if it will, we're going to try to make it happen again, but you never know. So be grateful that we did get to experience this fall.
Yeah, of course. When you look at this team, like what comes to mind? What's the first thought when you think of this team and why they were able to win the national championship? If you're talking to someone who never seen your team play, doesn't know anything about it, and they're like, how'd you win it, Kyle? Like, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I use the words like love and trust. These guys loved each other. Obviously, there's a level of talent and ability that you need to have, and I would put our group up there with any other Division III soccer team in the country. I think we have a great mixture of really talented soccer players, blended with some fantastic athletes, and some of the really talented guys are also the fantastic athletes, and some are better at soccer and some are more athletic. So we just have a really good mix of talent and depth in this program. But there was something special about this group, of just trusting in each other, being really, really accountable, loving each other, supporting each other. We tied up the national final with 4 seconds left. As much as you want to think that can happen, like, it actually felt, I don't know, who listening to this, who would have watched like the last 10 minutes of that game, but like, it actually felt the whole entire last 10 minutes like we were going to score. I feel like most games I've coached in my career, and you get to that, like, there's a minute left. Like, that was probably it. That moment never happened. Our staff, our players, I remember actually like hearing, I think it was our captain, I think it was Danny Yas, our captain, who was on the bench as his career was winding down with a minute left, probably not like loving the fact that I had him on the bench, but I think we had like 6 or 7 forwards basically in the game at that moment. But I just remember someone just yelled, like, keep believing, guys, keep, like, just yelling it down the bench. And the guys obviously just kept going. And obviously a lot of times in life things don't work out, but this one time it did. And just love and trust, and a group that just believed. I mean, we talked about it throughout the NCAA tournament. Like, you have to have almost a irrational level of belief to think you can win a national championship. Yeah. And I think we held that nerve, even with 30 seconds left. I think we served the corner and down a goal with 25 seconds left. And like, there's not too many teams that are going to believe they're actually going to tie that thing up in that last second. But somehow this group did. We felt like it was our destiny, and we were going to do everything that we could to try to make it happen.
When you look at the run you guys went on, I mean, it's pretty incredible. You had the one loss was like early September, right? Second game of the season, I think. I mean, then you just rattle off wins and dramatic wins and OT wins, and just you mentioned that belief, but like when you're in the thick of that run and you're just on that kind of win streak and you're on that kind of tear, is there a part of you that's just like, all right, we're due for something to not break our way. We're due for a loss, and I don't want this loss to happen in like the Sweet 16. I don't want this loss to happen now. I would have rather it happened in like October. Yeah,
I think most teams that I've coached and been a part of, that would have been the sort of back of your mind thought.
Yeah.
We lost to Williams early on. Williams was really, really good, especially early in the season. They were just stringing together results after results, and then I know they had some injuries towards the end of their season, but Williams, national finalists a few years ago, I don't know what they're ranked in the end, but a top 10, 20 program every single year, and a great coach. So that loss sort of, we think maybe helped us a little bit. We were undefeated. We lost on penalty kicks twice last year, but theoretically we were technically undefeated. So we sort of got that monkey off our back and didn't have to worry about that anymore, which I think was actually good for our program. And also it hurts to lose. So there was a little bit of sting that we hadn't felt in a while. So that was really good. And just to like think about we won 9 games in a row against 9 of the best teams in the country. Like that's so hard. We were the first, I want our guys to get the flowers for this, because our players deserve this. And I'm not going to say we were the best Tufts team ever, or the best team in the country ever, but like, they put together one of the best Division III college soccer seasons of all time. Winning 20 games, winning 9 in a row in the NESCAC playoffs. I think this group was the first team to ever win the NESCAC regular season, the NESCAC tournament, and the NCAA tournament. So just an incredible season. But I think, to your point, Matt, like usually you would think like, all right, everything's just gone too well. We've won tight games. And this year it just felt like the opposite. Like, no, it was just somehow going to work out. I talk about in the NCAA tournament, like there's like every team that wins has one game where there's something really fortunate happened for them, or they got in like that really scary moment. It's penalty kicks a lot of times. And for us, we sort of, the way the Division III soccer tournament works, we had to play the first 2 rounds away at Brandeis because our women were hosting. And I want to work on this in the future, but Division III won't let men and women host, even when you have the facilities and could. So we're on the road at Brandeis in the second round, and man, Gabe's done an incredible job there to get that program back to where it belongs as one of the top teams in the country. And we went into overtime, and all of a sudden you're starting to think like, oh God, I really don't want to go to penalties here away. Brandeis had a really good crowd, and Henry Brown scored just an incredible header from no angle. And you sort of got through that moment, and you could see the excitement on the guy. I don't know. That felt like maybe that was our hiccup moment, and we got through it this year. Whereas in the last couple of years, in the NCAA tournament, we would have great regular seasons, and then you play against really good teams, and the bad part happens. It just felt like this year there was something different, and the good thing was going to happen somehow.
I was going to ask that because I was like, why are you at Brandeis in the second round? And also ask about that double overtime game, because that's you're close to elimination right there, and to get through that. And I'm curious about how you built this roster. Obviously there's so many ways to build a college soccer roster right now, especially with the portal. What did you focus on for this team? And are there things that you also maybe learned in the past of okay, these are the type of players I want, or this is how I want to build this roster? I'm just curious what went in from you and your staff to put this team together for this year.
Yeah. And take this with a grain of salt. You build a championship team, and something could have gone wrong, right? So this all worked out, but you never know. It looks really good. It looks like I did a great job right now, but you never know. And so, yeah, I think for us, the transfer portal is starting to be a real thing. We just talked about Henry Brown scoring the game winner in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and he was at St. Lawrence his first 2 years. And we delved into the transfer portal because we felt like we needed a proven goal scorer and someone that was just a constant threat for us. And we've been really good the last couple of years, but we maybe haven't quite had just an attacking player or two that actually kind of put fear into other teams. We've been, really solid defensively, and in our opinion have had the best midfield and the best midfield depth in the country. But I think the addition of Henry Brown through the portal was a big piece for us. Yeah. And then I think Xavier Camphin, who came into his junior year this year, and I've been saying since I watched him as a 17-year-old playing in a MLS Next playoff game, and he was the best player on the field, and there were players going to the Ivy League and the Big Ten and the ACC in that game, and he was the best player in that game. That we had a special player here. So no, we pride ourselves on our depth. That's a big piece. And for us, that means some guys are going to be, guys who would be all conference players, all region, maybe even all Americans if they played in other conferences, just with the way that it all works, who might play 30 minutes a game for us. And hopefully they have that growth mindset and understand that it's a short season with a lot of games. And so our depth carries us. There was a point in the middle of the season, we were missing 4 or 5 starters, and I don't know if there's any other team in the country that could have kept winning in the way we were winning, missing that many starters. But we feel like realistically we have 20 to 24 starters in our program. But that takes humility and selflessness from the guys and being really good teammates, because some of the best players in the country are genuinely only playing 30 to 45 minutes in a game, but they care far more about winning than about their own statistics and about how many minutes they play.
I have a follow-up to that real quick, Matt, but is that something that when you're in the recruiting process, you try to target players who will be okay with that? Because, there are some players who won't like that, and they want to be the guy, and they want to be on a team where they can play the full game and show off. Is that something that you have to be very mindful of when you're recruiting players, that they can fit into that culture?
Yeah, I think so. And again, you have to get a little bit lucky. You try to learn as much as you can about players, and but the reality is when you're doing the recruiting process, players are on their best behavior, their parents are on their best behavior. You want real opinions from coaches. I think that's where we try to delve deeper into that and learn from their coaches, and hopefully people that we know and understand what our level of college soccer looks like. We try to watch players almost as much off of the ball when we're watching them live than as we do when they're actually on the ball. This game is an interesting game where you have the ball for 90 seconds a game. And so there's, when you're watching a kid play a youth soccer game, they're going to be without the ball, defending and working off of the ball offensively much more than they are with the ball. So try to learn what people's habits are. And are they the guys who throw up their hands when things don't go their way, or are they the guy that digs in and just gets back into it when they make a mistake, when their teammate makes a mistake. And for us, we talked about, we obviously recruit on that line of Division I players who who we basically say, like, we don't want to recruit Division III soccer players. We want to recruit Division I soccer players who choose to play Division III. And for us, the single most important character trait is competitiveness and the desire to want to win. You're not always going to win, but you need to have that desire to want to win. And if playing time is your biggest priority in the recruiting process, then this probably isn't the best place for you. It's an interesting line.
Yeah, no, I'm just curious.
You want every one of your players to aspire to play, but they all still. I don't know. Our guys talk when they leave, like they're really glad they chose us over Division I school X because that school went 500 in their 4 years, and we went 65 and 10. And admittedly, winning solves a lot of problems. Winning, there aren't too many kids who are coming in to complain about playing time when you win 20 games in a season.
I'm curious, Kyle, back when I was playing decades ago, I mean, it was a lot of the game was kick and run and athleticism and just, can you outright, technical ability was prevalent, but not the way it is now. Is there still a place you think in college soccer for the tough, fast, athletic kid who's not necessarily technically gifted, not necessarily, the most technically sound kid, but are you seeing just those kids, right place, right time? Ugly goals, but goals. So, just knowing how to finish and not necessarily with, the greatest on-ball moves you've ever seen. But is there a place for those just fast, athletic kids that don't have that technical ability that other kids might have?
Yeah, I think that's sometimes why guys like fall's a bad term, but like fall to this level, because they're not super clean on the ball, or they're like missing something. Obviously you want the best of both worlds. Like, I don't know, when I think of our team, like Xavier Canfin is one of the best technical soccer players in Division III, and he's also one of the best athletes in Division III. And like, when you get that combination, that's where you get, in my opinion, a kid who should have been a no-brainer. I think he was 3rd or 4th team All-American, but like is a no-brainer first team All-American in reality. Yeah. Scored the game winner in the NESCAC championship and the NCAA championships. Just amazing accomplishments that he and his family will be able to look back on. But no, there is. Our 5th-year captain, Taylor Feinberg, was a guy that was like under-recruited. We joke, and Taylor knows I love him and he loves me, so I can say this, but like Taylor's best quality is his head. And so we would say, like, if he's in the box, don't pass it to his foot, like pass it to his head and he's going to score. And he scored the game winner in the national semifinal. And if you watched our team train, of the 30 guys on the team, you wouldn't pick out Taylor as like a top 15 technical soccer player on our team. But if you pick a team, every single Division III college coach in the country would have Taylor in their starting lineup when he's healthy, because of his toughness, because of his mentality. Right. I think like more than like the toughness and like the athleticism is just like a player's mentality. Taylor Feinberg, like, if there's a lesson for anyone, like, watch that kid play. If you're not the most technically gifted, like, watch that guy. He's so competitive and just refuses to lose. And there's another player on our team, James Flagg, and James and I have a funny joke. Like, he's a Manhattan kid, and I think I stole this from maybe like Sir Alex Ferguson or something years ago, but he talks about like, you need to like piano players and piano carriers. And James Flagg, like, dude, you're a piano carrier. You're so athletic, but you're not gonna. You should never do 3 step overs and then like try to shoot the ball the outside of your right foot. And just knew his role and did it so well. And I love those kids the most because they're guys who, like, he didn't play that much early in his career. Honestly, in the Final Four, he was a sub, probably played 30 or 40 minutes in each game. And then when we won the national championship, we defend a corner and then counter to score the game winner in overtime. And he's the guy who heads the ball. He makes the clearance in the corner. And then we go on, and 80 yards later, Xavier scores a goal off an amazing pass from Mason Schultz. But like, that only was possible because we had James Flagg on there, who was carrying the piano and won the header off a corner. If you don't have that guy, then who cares how talented Xavier Canfin is in the box and how technically gifted he is? Like, you need both. And this group had a good mixture of both.
Right. And kind of aside from that too, when you're recruiting, and this could even be your opinion and anybody else's opinions in coaches you've talked to, like, are coaches actively looking for multi-sport athletes? Are you guys preferring that, a player goes solely soccer by the time they're 15, 16, or do you guys want kind of somebody who's doing other sports, honing their coordination and other things. I mean, what's kind of the outlook on just the multi-sport athlete for you guys?
Yeah, I can only speak for myself. I played 2 sports in college. I ski raced and I played soccer. So I always say we want guys have to be really serious about soccer to make it to this level of college soccer. Like the top end of Division III is incredible. I think it's where the top end of Division I soccer was 10 years ago, quite frankly. So you have to be really, really good. Like, make no mistakes about it, to play for Tufts or any top Division III team. You have to be really, really good. But it'd be hypocritical of me to not look at guys who play multiple sports. I think there's a lot to be said. The guy I just said, James Flagg, is a really good example of that. He played high school basketball. And it's just like an athlete, and you learn about, like, I don't know, even like some of our defensive principles, like when the ball's in the air in our box and we're defending our box, we talk about like boxing out. Like, we've completely stolen that from basketball. And so, yeah, I like multi-sport athletes. I have a 7-year-old right now who's like, he loves every sport, and he's just getting into it. And it's like, when I watch him, I'm like, his footwork's not great. And he just started playing basketball this winter. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to be so good for him athletically. So I love multi-sport athletes. It's becoming more and more rare, but I don't know, life is cyclical. I could see that like spinning in 10 years from now, more kids are playing 2 sports. And I also think there's a difference. Like, if you want to play at Real Madrid, maybe when you're 12, you should play soccer. It's about having fun in life. And it's about, like, I like guys who, a lot of guys we recruit play MLS Next. And so, like, don't play high school for the most part. And I actually encourage guys, like, when you're a senior, if you want to play high school soccer your senior year, like, go for it.
You only get that 1 year. You only get that one chance to do it.
Yeah, go have fun. You can't become worse, because it's going to be harder for you when you get to college next year. But if you want to go play high school soccer and play with your buddy, like, go do it.
Yeah. You mentioned, like, kind of looking ahead to next year, but now that you're a national championship and this program has accomplished that, like, what does that do for the next couple of years for kind of the stature of the program, the players that are coming back and having that experience? And for you, your fellow coaches, like, what do you hope this run does moving forward for Tufts soccer?
Yeah, I think in a program like ours, in the second most storied Division III program, I think Messiah has won 11 or 12, crazy amount of national championships. In Tufts, we now have 5. So I think the players in our program, I think they felt some pressure because it had been 5 years, but, like, it's also crazy to put that type of pressure. Like, there's 430 teams in Division III. We were ranked number 1 in the country in 3 of the last 5 seasons. We just didn't win the national championship. So you hope maybe some of that pressure is relieved. But this year, I don't know, the crazy part of this year, that we played without any pressure. Like, I think in the past, we felt like we were like, we had to, like, defend our program and what the program has done in the past. And that, like, it wasn't working out. I think that's too much pressure. It's too much on the shoulders of the players. And so this year it was like, let's just go attack everything. If we don't win, who cares? Like, it is what it is, right? Nothing in your life is going to change. You're going to wake up tomorrow and, like, I'm going to need to go to work. I'm going to need to be a dad. I'm going to need to drop my kid off at school. The players are going to need to go to class and do all that. So, like, let's just go attack this thing. But I think winning just gives us that freedom and maybe a little belief. I think one of the reasons the NESCAC has so much success is because, this is silly to say, but the NESCAC has so much success because the NESCAC has had so much success. So if you play in the NESCAC now, you just now think, like, wow, I must be playing on one of the best teams in the country. We can beat anyone. And so if you can make it from the NESCAC into the NCAA tournament, you play against any other team out there. Obviously, there's amazing teams. We played St. Olaf in the Final Four. We played Messiah in the Sweet 16. We played Trinity, Texas. Like, what a team! Like, they were 4 seconds away from winning the national championship. They are just as good as any team in the NESCAC. But I think there's 8 or 9 teams in the NESCAC that are just as good as any of the top 10 or 15 teams in the country. So, I don't know. I think hopefully it relieves a little bit of the pressure that guys might feel, but I don't know. We're going to go attack it again next year and try to do it again. And if we don't, it is what it is. It's, we'll give it our best shot.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in the conversation, this year's team, 2026, is going to be really strong again, theoretically. But you guys don't throw the word repeat around. What do you even talk? I mean, do you even mention let's go win another championship, or what is that when you've won it and you know you're going to be strong? How do you kind of I don't want to say undersell it, but how do you keep everything in check so the kids don't just start thinking, repeat? I mean, how do you keep it level there?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is my best quality as a coach and something I bring to our team. And we're getting national championship rings, which will be really, really cool. And the guys chose to have this inscribed on the bottom of their ring. So don't get me wrong, like, we say we want to be national champs. Our goal is to win the NESCAC championship and win the national championship. Ultimately, what I say is my goal as a coach is to be competitive to win the NESCAC championship and be competitive to win the national championship. So you're one of the best teams in the country if you're in both of those conversations. But we probably talk about winning a national championship for 2 minutes in preseason. And then maybe when we're, I think I actually saw myself in the pregame huddle in the national semifinal. I said something like, if we want to be national champs, we got to win the semifinal, which is like, obviously, coach, like, no kidding. They like, our guys put it in their document.
They weren't running through walls for you after that.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
So you're right.
So we talked about it, but our biggest mantra is 1-0 today. It's something I've used, and every coach has their own version of that probably, but 1-0 today is the biggest mantra I've used. And for me, 1-0 today means you just give it your absolute best on that given day. And sometimes you're going to go 1-0. Sometimes you're going to go in the NESCAC and soccer. You're going to go 0-1 a lot of days. And then other days you're going to go 0-1. But your goal is just to be the best you can be on that given day. And you can't rest on your laurels. And you also can't overreact when things don't go your way. And so for us, we genuinely, and I think our guys are incredible about this. Like we play in the NESCAC, right? Like these doubleheader weekends. And if we play Trinity on Saturday and Amherst on Sunday, like we don't even mention Amherst until about 30 minutes after the Trinity game is over. Like we are one game at a time. And my assistant coach says this about me. And it's like, knowing when I tell guys who are thinking about coming to play for me, like, know who I am. We're about 1-0 today in practice. We're about 1-0 today at lift. We're about like just each and every day. And he says like the best and the worst quality of having me as your coach is like, I care as much about winning the first game of the season as I do about winning the national championship game. But I just think that breaks it down. Like you get way too far ahead of yourself if you start thinking about like, if we win these 3 games and then if we lose that, well, like just focus on the next day. You have no idea what's going to happen. So 1-0 today, if it works out, great. But regardless of how it works out, just wake up the next day and try to do it again. And our players do an incredible job with that.
Yeah. No, that's you can't argue with that mantra, and it got you guys a national championship. So it served the program quite well. So what these next few months, just recruiting trail constantly for you? You're going to be, I imagine the travel budget's going to be going all over the place, looking at players, right, for the incoming class.
Yeah, it's funny. NESCAC soccer used to be so far ahead of the curve, and like, high school juniors right now, and like trying to be done by the middle of the summer. Like we can't do admissions previews until July 1. So like, but it's just changed so much. When I first got here 6 years ago, I was like, by the end of July, we were basically done recruiting. Yeah. But now with Division I's going later and later, and like, I mean, basically as late as they possibly can go, and to get not filling their roster with high school kids and trying to see what transfers they can get. Right. I mean, it's forced us to try to recruit later as well. We have different, because of our admission standards and earlier calendars and stuff, we have to do, we can't, like, January 1 is a hard stop of your senior year is a hard stop application deadline. So if we found a high school senior right now, like they can't come to Tufts next year if they haven't applied. But yeah, I mean, we're everywhere. The game is a global game. We look at internationals. We look at the transfer portal. It's not easy to transfer into Tufts. We might get one a year, like as much as we got Henry Brown. I think that changed us. Yeah. I don't know that we'll have a transfer next. Like right now, I'm not sure if we'll have a transfer next year, but we look in that world for sure. So we'll be everywhere. But the time frame is different. Like we're pretty early. We're very early in the process for 2027, where probably 5 years ago, we'd be like pretty far ahead and we'd have a list of 50 guys or 100 guys. And it's different now. And we can be more patient and, but I'm going down to the National Academy Championship at IMG, I guess in 2 days. Nice. I haven't been recruiting, since we won the national championship. So I'm looking forward to just walking around with my t-shirt on and people saying good to see you.
Shut the ring off.
Yeah.
My oldest in the rings.
We haven't. They take a week. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
next year.
Good problems to have, but we haven't even placed the order yet. And apparently they take like 3 or 4 months to produce. So, so I guess we're thinking we'll get them our first game. We open September 5th, 2026 against Trinity. So just like straight into NESCAC play. So we think we'll do the ceremony maybe that day. So hopefully we go 1-0 that day, because the ceremony will be after the game, I'm sure. So
awesome. Well, that'll be a fun day. That's something to look forward to. That's really cool. Yeah. All right, Kyle. Well, now it's time for the real show with extra time with David Yas. I know he's got some nice stuff cooking for us. So you ready for this?
Yeah, I listen to your guys' podcast. I don't know when it comes out, bi-weekly or monthly, but I've heard this, and so I'm a little nervous, but I'm confident the three of us can
likes to
hammer
trick
through it.
us. He likes to trick us.
Well, let's do it.
It's the end of regulation, so let's move to extra time.
Yes. Welcome back to Extra Time. I do have 3 questions for all of our panelists here, including the coach. And Coach, you're the guest, so you get to go first. Sorry. Rules are rules.
Okay.
Here's first question. It's a little bit of a sort of philosophical one, I guess. There are fans of soccer that are among the most rabid and crazy of all the sports. Rooting for a soccer club is, you could say by definition, irrational. We're rooting for people we don't know who will probably never meet, and we're hoping that they kick a soccer ball in a net for some reason. So if it's irrational, here's my question. Why do we do it? Why, Coach, do you suppose people actually have incredible devotion to soccer clubs?
That's a great question. I mean, I've spent time in Europe enough and South America. Honestly, South America, I thought you were going to ask who are like the craziest, most rabid fans. And
you can mention that too. That's
I took a team to Argentina, and you're like happy to get out of the stadium alive. We went to a few games, just like unbelievable. I mean, I think that's something like American sports fans, if they ever go to a South American or European soccer game, they're just really surprised at how fun it is, and the singing and the passion, and I think that's something we miss in American sports. I think even if you watch like a European basketball game, you see like the fans singing and dancing and jumping in the stadium, like bouncing up and down. I just think there's so much passion and love, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna give a bad answer. I'm a Manchester City supporter, which makes me sound like the most plastic fan that's out there because we're so good right now. But I began supporting Manchester City back in the early 2000s because Claudio Reyna, the U.S. captain, was there, and DeMarcus Beasley went there. And it's funny. I love, obviously, like Man City winning Champions Leagues and winning Premier Leagues and being competitive and all that. And I was watching every minute of them beating Liverpool this weekend. But I actually also enjoyed when they were like fighting relegation battles every year. Yeah, soccer's, I mean, it's just an amazing sport, and the passion and the love that fans have. And I don't know, we need dramatic things in our life that make us laugh and cry and smile and be sad and miserable at times. And I think that's what soccer's a microcosm of life, I think.
Wow. Excellent answer.
It's one of the best answers we've had on the pod.
It is, yeah.
Shut it down. Shut the show down after that.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Well, Langone, tough act to follow, but we'll let you answer.
No, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with everything Coach said. I mean, I think it's just, yeah, it's an outlet for us to have that. And it's, you know, it's something we love drama and we love emotions, and we, you know, it's just something to capture. But I do agree. I don't think in this country we understand like the true loyalty that whether it be European soccer clubs or South American soccer clubs, the loyalty that those fan bases have. I mean, it's been sewn into the fabric of their life for generations. You know, a lot of times, like their economies are, you know, we've all seen Wrexham. We've all seen the impact that Wrexham, the club, has on the local economy, and just the moods of every person in that town, and just how it's such a part of their life. We do have that to an extent here with our teams, but I still feel like it's a little more commercialized here for us. I don't think it's quite as deep as soccer supporters and soccer club supporters. I think it's just been going on for decades and decades, and it will continue because it's just such a intense relationship.
You have the ultimate drama in some parts of Europe with the concept of relegation,
right? Where
if a team have been instances where if a team gets relegated, it can go bankrupt because it can't make money in a lower league. So you're literally rooting for the financial health and the very being of the team, which might affect the town very heavily. So so you're literally like rooting for the town. I mean,
survive. The reality is the Pats could suck for the next 10 years, but Patriot Place is still going to rake in a ton of money. People are going to still go. Like, I mean, it's just, I would love, I've said it on this podcast a million times, I would love for American sports to, you know, adopt relegation. I think it would be awesome. I think we need it.
Doherty, your thoughts?
What was the question again?
Why do we root? Why do we root?
Did you honestly forget the question?
The exact wording. We root. It's just a way of life, you know. It connects us with other people. It connects us with the community. It connects us with ourselves. Like it's all those things. I think that's what makes sports so beautiful. And it's something to do. Like I think, like doing this podcast with Matt, like we both love sports. We both wanted to work in sports. That's why we're here. Same with David, why we have Kyle on the podcast. Like it just brings people together. I think that's the most powerful thing, or meeting at a pub to watch a game, or, going, connecting with family members over it. Maybe you don't have other things in common, but you can relate on this team. And I think all those things, I think that's the beauty of sports, and personally why I work in it. And I feel like maybe you guys have the same way. I know coaching is different like you, but your relationships with players, I'm sure that means so much to you. I think that's what sports and soccer offer.
For sure. It is about relationships. It's like Billy Crystal said in the classic movie City Slickers, when I was 17 years old and I had nothing to talk to my dad about, we could always talk about baseball.
That's right.
So take your wisdom from. All right. Well, Quest, we do have to move on. This is getting nice and deep and everything. But Doherty, we'll start with you on this one.
Okay.
So bear with me on this one. I'm reading a book called Football, written by the author Chuck Klosterman. And
he's a good writer.
He's a very good writer. He makes some points about soccer. And even though the book is about American football, he talks about how silly it is that we actually call it football when the football European makes a lot more sense. And he says that he thought that soccer would never catch on in the U.S., but he was wrong. And he says the reason why it eventually started to swing sometime within the last 2 decades, I guess, or maybe even the last decade, is because American fans realized it was fun to root for American soccer players as underdogs, because we are on the national stage. The U.S. is underdogs. And he said that's at least one reason why. Do you think he's right, or do you think there are other reasons why soccer apparently has caught hold in the United States in recent history?
I think it's because, I don't know, maybe because other countries are doing it. It's so popular in Europe that like we like that, so we want to be involved. I don't like the U.S. underdog thing. I feel like
you don't think. Okay.
I feel like there aren't many like diehard national team supporters, at least that I know of. I feel like it's more the European game. So like when an American goes over there and plays in the Premier League, like that draws them to that. And I think maybe we have like a little envy of the culture over there and how much soccer impacts the culture that we want to bring it here. Like I feel like a lot of my friends who are soccer fans have a team overseas that they support, and it's not necessarily about the US team. It's more about those teams. So yeah, that'd be
the more American players in Europe at least gave us.
But also we just love. I think we really like that. We don't have a league like that in the States. I know the MLS is growing, but I think.
But that's been going on for years, right? And we never paid attention to soccer until recent years. So
I think I saw poll numbers recently that soccer is now the 3rd most popular sport in this country, behind football and basketball.
Wow.
It's overtaken baseball. It's overtaken hockey. But I think we just progressed as a society. I mean, my grandfather used to talk about in his days, horse racing and boxing were available. And I think in this country, a lot of people were hesitant to accept soccer because of football. And this is our football. That's their football. This is our football. But if a kid plays, I haven't met many kids who play soccer who don't love, it's constant running. It's fast. It's energetic. It can be frenetic. It's fun for kids to play. And I think I think the one sport that is readily available for kids to play, it's cost effective. Like if family can, like I know we're not where we live, our town soccer program, and it's not expensive. Just go play, and all the kids play. So the more kids have been playing it over the last few decades, they're realizing I actually really love this sport. And then club soccer boomed, and now it's readily available year round. And granted, that's not as cost efficient as town soccer, but I just think we were hesitant to it, and now we're embracing it as a society because it's a great sport. It's fast. It's great on TV. There's no commercials. I mean, it's easy to follow. It's easy to watch. And I think the main reason it's more popular is now we've accepted it more. And the people, I hate to say this, but the older generation that didn't want to embrace it are kind of being replaced by a younger generation that wants to accept it. And that's why it's being.
Did you want to add something, Doherty, before we go to the coach?
Oh, no. I was talking about from a fan perspective.
Yeah. Okay.
But I agree with Matt. Yeah. I think it's become way more popular kids play it way more now, and obviously the club world has blown up, and the World Cup this year is going to help too, right? I mean, when was the last? 94 was the last.
94, and we had a
year?
boom right after that. The MLS started. We had that was that.
So,
yeah.
I'm interested to see what that does as well, and how much of an impact that has.
Yeah,
Matt, you're right about horse racing and boxing were the two biggest sports as recently as like maybe 1940. You know why horse racing eventually faded?
No.
Well, it's an interesting theory anyway. Horse racing probably had its peak around 1940 or so. The car was only came into popularity in the 20s, right? So before 1920, people rode around on horses. Yeah, so you're only 20 years removed from everybody had a horse.
A lot more connected to horses. Yeah,
exactly. All right, Coach, you've been waiting patiently. Give us your thoughts on why soccer has taken hold in the States in recent years.
Yeah, good answers. I mean, I think maybe like a continuation of Matt was saying. It's just like we're such a new country. Soccer's so new in our country. We, as Americans, we want to start playing a sport and to be the best at it in the world in 10 minutes. And that's just not possible with soccer. Soccer's been ingrained in again, like South America and Europe for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we're just catching up. And so I think about it often of like, shout out to my high school soccer coach, Jose Batista. His son Adam is my first assistant here at Tufts. But like, when I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Vermont, Jose Batista, the high school coach, started a youth soccer program. And like, he started that because he was like the only guy who had like in that area who even like knew what soccer was. He was Portuguese. And now, I mean, I'm 45 now. So I think we're like my generation, maybe half a generation before me is like the first generation where like dads and moms grew up playing soccer. And so I just think it's just like a natural progression, sort of like getting rid of the horse racing piece of like, I don't know, 2 generations from now, everyone's grandfather's grandfather is going to have grown up playing soccer. And so I think that's just a natural change, but the U.S. will be very good at soccer. We are very good at soccer, but we will be competitive to win World Cups forever. It could take another 20 or 30 or 40 years, but we are catching up, and I'm a firm believer of that. And hopefully we have a good World Cup, but I'm also not going to be a naysayer if things don't go great, because I just think as Americans, we want to win immediately, but this game has been in Brazil and Argentina and England and France and Spain for hundreds of years, and we're just getting started in the U.S.
Yeah, it's hard for Americans to envision a day when soccer is the number one sport in the country, but you have to remember that, back to horse racing, Seabiscuit was as big a star as Babe Ruth. Seabiscuit.
That's right.
He was a horse. He's not even a human being. Anyway, question number 3, which we'll wrap up extra time. Coach, we'll go back to you. If you were coaching a team in the finals of the World Cup, and you can pick any goalie to play goalkeeper for you, past or present, dead or alive, any goalie you've ever set eyes upon, what goalie would you call upon to play for you, Coach?
Oh, that's a really, really good question. I'm going to go with an American answer. Probably not the one most people think I'm going to say, but just because I am a U.S. men's national team junkie. We've got a jersey right over here that they almost trained at Tufts a couple of years ago, and so they came and did site visits and the general manager and stuff, and so we have a jersey that they gave us with all their signatures.
Nice. At least you got the jersey.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go. This was like when I first fell in love with soccer. Was like around the '94 World Cup. I was in middle school, and he was incredible. I think we had generations of the best goalkeepers in the world, and I think we don't necessarily have that right now, so we need to regain that. But just for my American support, because if I'm coaching in the World Cup, I want to be coaching the U.S. national team. That's my country, so that's who I would want to be coaching. So Tony Meola would be my answer. His fit was unbelievable. I remember like the '94 goalkeeping jersey and matching shorts, and Tony had like the ponytail with the shaved sides, and like every kid wanted that. I think I like half had that, but I didn't have long enough hair to have the ponytail. So yeah, I'll go with Tony Meola, and I still listen to him on Sirius XM on talking about soccer. So Tony Meola for me.
Better goalkeeper than he was ever an actor, I think. He's tried. We'll go to you, Langone. Goalkeeper.
Exactly, Mike. Tony Meola is that's who you're going to. Yeah, because when I grew up, he And his punt was ridiculous. I mean, he had when I was growing up, he had the strongest leg by far. And to the point where, remember, he had a tryout with the New York Jets in football. He had a place kicking tryout with the Jets. Obviously that didn't work out for him, but he epitomized soccer to me when I was a kid. He was an Italian guy. You know, my dad, we're an Italian family. We liked him a lot. Just my dad was like, oh, he's an Italian guy. Like my dad loved him. So we just loved him, and he was U.S. soccer. My runner-up would be Giancarlo Buffon, the Italian goalkeeper, just because my two teams every year, U.S. and Italy. I mean, that's who I root for in the World Cup, and he's phenomenal as well. But Miola was for a while to me. Like when I was coming up, it was like him. It was Lexi Lawless was on it, like because of the hair, and like Colby Jones, all these guys who just had these eccentric personalities. Tab Ramos, like. Those were the guys when I was growing up, so I would go Miola too. I bet Tony Miola could make the Jets right now. Actually, play quarterback for the Jets right now. He probably could. Yeah. Doherty, you're up
for this World Cup. I thought Matt was going to say this, but Matt Turner, just for Soccer Journal purposes, to have
local ties,
local ties, Revolution, Fairfield. I think that would do great for business here for us. So.
And he was all the craze for a while. I mean, he was the guy for a while.
You know, I'm not too familiar with. You know, these goalkeepers you guys are talking. I'm a little younger, but
whoa. Don't rub that in. Don't rub that in.
No, you guys are both spring chickens. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I want Matt Turner just for that New England love.
If it's not Matt Turner, it'll be Matt Freese, and that's good local tie. He's a Harvard guy, so New England is well represented.
That's right. That's true.
Probably, whichever guy it'll probably Matt Freese at this point, but either way, we'll have some good Boston ties and New England ties.
Don't we have enough Matts on this podcast? What's going on? Anyway, the Mats and Coach all did very well in extra time. Well done, gentlemen. I'll see what I can do to get you all a Tony Miola bobblehead. With the full head of hair.
Oh, please.
And back to you guys to wrap things up.
Yeah, Matt, you got to go home tonight and pull up some highlights of Tony Miola. Yeah. Just the hair was phenomenal.
I love goalies, so I love watching goalies.
He was an actor in Tony and Tina's wedding, wasn't he? You could go see the dinner theater thing.
What? Was it like I'm pretty sure it was like a play? What was it?
Yeah, it was like a dinner thing. You go and do you remember that, Coach? Yeah. And he looked the part for sure, but I think he ended up being better at soccer.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. I'd say so. Good stuff, David, as usual. And Kyle, thanks again for joining us. This was awesome. Obviously, can't wait to see those championship rings when they come out. Maybe we'll have to get that. That's a home game, September 5th, you said?
Yeah, we're going to do it September 5th. They have to be there by then. So
yeah, I think so. I would think so. Well, thanks again to Kyle Dezotell for joining the podcast. I'm Matt Langone. Thanks for listening. New England Soccer Journal's The Gold Podcast is produced by David Yas and is a Siemens Media production.